Dean Brown slashes the public service Christmas holidays.
More arrests as protesters clash with Melbourne police for a second day.
And a dramatic lightning show provides a spectacular prelude to a night of fierce storms.
Good evening. Also tonight, Australia's cricketers struggle again and a new team to join the AFL.
But first, the new Premier Dean Brown has cancelled Christmas. Not for everyone, just for thousands of workers on the government payroll. The new Premier started the day dumping another 4 top public service bosses. After that, he axed a department and scrapped the traditional Christmas-New Year break for state workers.
Dean Brown didn't officially become Premier until a few minutes after 11 this morning. But after 11 years of waiting, the Liberals couldn't wait just for the formalities to start work. Even before Brown and his colleagues were sworn into their new cabinet roles, they were calling the shots. Another 4 senior public servants have been axed, including Peter Emery, the state's under-treasurer. Emery took over the running of the Treasury in mid-1990, just months before the State Bank went belly up. It's been his job to make sure the rescue package works. But the Liberals appear to have decided Emery should wear some of the blame for the initial collapse. Brown today also axed the head of the Health Commission, the head of Family Services and the head of Emergency Services. In fact, he's abolished the whole Emergency Services Department. It hasn't been announced yet, but he's also sacked the head of the Education Department. And he doesn't know how much the whole exercise is going to cost taxpayers.
Well, I don't wish to talk about the details of any of them. What's happened is that they've been removed from their present positions, and over the next 4 to 5 days I'll be talking about their future.
And it's not just those at the top of the public service who are feeling the stiff bristles of the Liberals' new broom.
That's it then. Cancel the kitchen scraps for lepers and orphans. No more merciful beheadings. And call off Christmas.
Traditionally, most public servants take a week's holiday between Christmas and New Year, a shutdown that's fairly common in most large businesses. Not this year. All government offices and statutory authorities have been ordered to stay open. It's not clear whether the new ministers have been ordered to stay open with them. Randall Ashbourne, 7 Nightly News.
And it won't be much of a Christmas for some families who felt the brunt of a fierce storm last night. Emergency services volunteers and police worked for hours to control flash flooding and the storm damage, which followed a dazzling display of lightning.
At around midnight last night, an electrical storm lit up the skies above Adelaide. 2 hours later, the rain came teeming down. In a couple of hours, 50 millimetres, or on the old scale, close to 2 inches, had soaked the city. 80 State Emergency Service volunteers were kept busy patching roof damage and sandbagging areas to stop water entering homes. Main roads were closed as police diverted traffic away from trouble spots.
I don't think I've seen as much water on the South Road in my whole life of living in Adelaide. It was running a bunker from the gutters right across to the centre line of the South Road. It was very, very wet.
When the skies cleared this morning, a Bedford Park couple went to get into their car, only to find its bonnet had been struck by lightning.
It's burnt through to the dash, melted the dash, and, well, you've seen the car, it's all black inside. My sheepskin covers, my new steering wheel cover I got for my birthday. So it's a write-off, basically.
A local radio station came to the rescue by providing the carless couple with a hire vehicle until they can find a replacement. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to solve the pollution problem at the Padawalunga. Every kind of waste material washed up around the moorings, but the worst, it seems, is over. The latest forecast predicts strong winds and isolated showers for the next few days. Warmer weather should be heading our way for the weekend. Peter Caldecott, 7 Nightly News.
Moves are underway to save what's left of a spectacular limestone cave blown up by a Selleck Hill quarry company. News of the blast has outraged conservation groups. The Environment Department's ordered an inquiry, while the Mines Department has revealed it's not the first cave to be filled in so quarrying can continue.
A million years in the making and destroyed in a single day with a charge of gelignite. Southern Quarries, which filled in the cave, say it was a danger to their dump trucks. According to the Conservation Council, it's a tragic loss because the cave belongs to the people of South Australia.
We now call on the new Liberal government to take immediate action to protect what may be left and make sure that this sort of thing cannot happen again.
The Director General of the Environment Department, Dennis Muttons, asked the quarry company to stop all blasting until an inspection of the cave can be carried out with an assessment of its heritage value. A spokesman for the Mines Department says Southern Quarries has been given permission by the department to fill in caves which pose a threat to the health and safety of quarry workers.
The Department of Mines' role in this has been absolutely appalling. They had an inspector on standby watching the blasting last Thursday, so they've colluded in this.
One of the cavers who made the discovery 2 years ago and kept its location a secret until it could be protected is still hopeful some of the best formations can be saved.
Major damage has already been done. It's amazing what that cave has withstood to date. It may even be able to survive this.
Chris Warren, 7 Nightly News.
An AIDS victim who ripped off Social Security to the tune of $100,000 has walked free from an Adelaide court. A district court judge told the man he deserved to be granted his wish to die in dignity, not in jail.
29-year-old Scott Sutherland, who only has a few months to live, pleaded guilty to illegally collecting more than $104,000 in Job Start allowance payments. But his 3-year, 4-month jail term was suspended. Judge Peroni said Sutherland was already sentenced to death by AIDS and deserved to have his wish granted to die in dignity in his home city of Sydney.
If it's a terminal stage, which I am, I think it is a fair and just sentence, yes.
But Sutherland didn't get off scot-free. He has to repay all the money he stole. As well, he has to pay a $10,000 fine and $5,000 towards prosecution costs.
Meanwhile, a 16-year-old youth has been sentenced to 18 months detention for the vicious bashing robbery of a boy in the Rundle Mall in September. The 13-year-old victim was punched, kicked and stomped on as the youth tried to get his money and sand shoes. Judge Kingsley Newman said the robbery was a deliberate, brutal, unprovoked and unnecessary crime. He said the youth needed a strong lesson to teach him to act more responsibly in the future. Amanda Bachman, 7 Nightly News.
A 12-month-old baby girl who's in a critical condition was rushed to hospital under police escort this afternoon. No one is saying publicly what happened to the infant, but the CIB has been called in to investigate.
The unconscious infant was first rushed by ambulance from her Salisbury Downs home to the nearby Lyle McEwen Hospital. Then a retrieval ambulance under police escort rushed the baby to the Women's and Children's Hospital. A spokesman there says the 12-month-old is in a critical condition in intensive care. However, a police source says it was first thought the baby was a bashing victim, but later it was believed the child had simply been neglected. The girl's mother has been interviewed by police, while the struggling baby continues to undergo emergency procedures and tests. Meanwhile, police are appealing for help to identify a man who drowned in the Torrens overnight. His body was found early this morning near the University footbridge. It was dressed only in brown shorts and blue and white joggers. It's believed the dead man had been drinking heavily before he